For those out there that clean like Tarzan, but jerk like Jane,
Finish it off. No.
Unfortunately, clean like Tarzan and jerk like Jane.
I'm here to help you. I've coached lifters in over 28 different countries now, and I'll tell you right now, the split jerk is the dark horse of weightlifting.
Nice. Good.
When you start weightlifting, this snatch is the one that humbles you first, that you really want to get better at. Everything else seems okay. But as you progress from a beginner to an intermediate, that's generally when I see the split jerk start to rear its head and can cause headaches for so many lifters, including myself, for the longest time. So today I'm going to break the split jerk down in a way that I wish someone had done for me when I started. Position by position, and I'll tie each piece to the next so you can see how each position flows to one another. Having competed at the Olympic Games and helping countless lifters master this movement, I want to try to give you the complete picture in this video. Now, I'll disclaim this first, just as I did for the snatch and the clean breakdowns, in which I will link at the top of the description. This is going to be a lot of information, and this isn't how I would teach a beginner how to split jerk from day one. This is more of an in-depth breakdown, and I don't expect you to take all of this in all at once. But my hope is that you may pick up a point or two, perhaps something you've once overlooked, so then you can go apply it and get that little bit sharper technically. But before we get into it, I need to quickly talk a few of you off the ledge, because I know a lot of us, when we go into weightlifting and start having troubles with the split jerk, we tend to look online and think perhaps we are built to power or squat jerk instead. And I get it, but for most of us, for 99% of us, this is more just avoidance of the hard thing that we need to attack head on. I remember 8 years ago or so now, I had a shocker of a competition, barely got one split jerk on the competition platform, and failed to qualify for my national championships in this competition. What I did was, immediately after, the day after the competition, I went back into the gym, split jerked for 3 hours straight, and did the same thing the next day. Stupid training decision. What happened on that second day is, after split jerking for several hours, towards the end of the session, mid split jerk, I had torn my adductor. And in doing so, I had to power jerk only for the next 8 months straight while the adductor healed. By the end of this 8-month period, I was power jerking over what my best split jerk was prior to the injury. But after that, I went back to the split jerk, and within 3 weeks, I'd surpassed my old power jerk that I was building up over an 8-month period. For 99% of us, we are not born to power jerk or born to squat jerk. Usually it is just an avoidance on first mastering the split jerk. Now, the power jerk alongside push presses are a great accessory movement, and I program them on a very regular basis for my lifters. But if the split jerk is giving you grief, running from it is not the fix. Mastering it is. So we're going to do exactly that right now. Beginning with your front rack position. The bar should be resting on the shoulders, sitting on the deltoids, not held up by the arms, putting pressure on the wrists. Your fingers and palms stay under the bar with a loose grip, and the elbows come up and out, so then the bar has a shelf to rest on, being the shoulders. If those elbows drop or are sitting too low, then you'll be prone to having the bar roll off the shoulders and head forward as soon as you go to jerk. And on the other end of the spectrum, you don't want the elbows pointing too high up, as that can then cause some bar path issues alongside issues in readjusting that grip as you go into the split jerk. Your feet want to be roughly hip width. Think of a stance that you would usually vertically jump from. It doesn't necessarily have to be a pulling stance or your catch stance in the snatch or the clean, or your squat stance. We want that weight sitting slightly behind the midfoot, slightly further back as it would be in a snatch or a clean pull. And as we do before any lift, we take a big breath into our belly and brace our trunk like we are about to cop a hit. That braced trunk is what's going to help you transfer that force from the legs into the bar without leaking any energy or force through a soft torso. In the dip, we want that torso dead straight and vertical. The single most common fault that I see, and one that I had to work on for years, is not letting the torso or the shoulders creep forward in the dip. The moment that happens, the bar drifts forward off the shoulders in the drive, and then the split jerk is of course forward as well. I remember a decade ago, I used to come into the gym with my phone, set it up side on at the jerk rack to simply take note of my torso during some light split jerks. The cue that I want you to hold on to, which eventually helped me, was thinking as you dip, think hips down, not back, as that may send the shoulders forward, and keeping those elbows fixed as you do this, not dropping them forward. Maintain that balance just behind the midfoot in the dip, making sure those toes don't rise, meaning you've sent your balance too far back in the foot. We want flat feet during this dip. And I want you to control that dip into a powerful drive. Think of it like a slingshot in the dip and drive. If you rush the dip, you'll possibly detach the bar from the shoulders, which will cause you to lose connection with the bar, potentially buckle at the bottom of the dip, and then throw out your tempo and position going into the drive. Now, we only need to dip as far enough to load the legs for a drive. Think of it somewhat of a quarter squat, where the knees will roughly go to the end of the toes at the bottom of the dip. Obviously, too shallow, you've got nothing to drive with. Too long, and what will happen is the hips will start to sit back, the shoulders will sit forward, and then you'll potentially drive the bar forward from here. And quickly, because we're going through the jerk position by position, if you want the full reference to check your positions as you go, I've put together a free positional playbook. It has every position for the snatch, the clean, and the jerk with clear do's and don'ts for each one. It's basically a companion to this video. It's free at the top of the description. I'll leave a link for you. Now, beyond the dip, we move on to the drive. You drive the bar straight through using the legs. Where a lot of lifters go wrong is they don't use the legs to their maximum ability and they use the arms too early. Believe it or not, your legs are far stronger than your arms. So before we use the arms, we need to use the legs to their fullest extent. You push the floor away, extend completely, reaching that nice triple extension of the ankles, the knees, and the hips before then introducing the arms in the split to come. Now, when it comes to receiving the bar in the split jerk, I have a number of checklist items that I like to see my lifters hit. The first one is the front shin. We want that front shin vertical. If in the split your front shin angle points inwards, then you're too heavy on the front foot. If it's angled out the opposite way too far, which is rarer to see, then the split jerk is a little too long. Vertical shin, even weighting between the front and the back leg. Now we want that back knee in the split jerk with a slight bend in it, not locked out straight, which puts pressure on the lower back and forward. And you also don't want it too bent either, as then you lose stability in that back leg because of it. Because then that glute on that side relaxes and then you lose stability in that back leg. We want both feet in the split jerk slightly angled inwards to lock into a nice stable position. And we want the hips square underneath the shoulders, with the bar then finishing behind the ears. If you hit all those checklist items, then that split jerk should be feeling and looking stable. Now, as I said before, with the transition from the legs to the arms, timing matters here. Finish that leg drive first, then you introduce the arms. Lifters who get this wrong and introduce the arms too early will tend to catch the jerk short, where their arms aren't quite locked out yet. Then they can have issues with pressing out because of it. The arms are not there to press the bar up. They're there to guide the bar back and push you under. So beyond extension, arms push the bar back behind the ears while pushing you under and locking out hard. One drill you can do to work on this timing is the tall jerk. You only need an empty bar here, where you can start from flat feet, or you can emulate your jerk a little further by starting on the toes with some pop on the bar. All you need to do here is push the bar back, push you under, and split with fast footwork. Now, once we get the hang of this, after we've hit the split position, we need to recover properly. The front foot always recovers first in the split jerk. If you recover back foot first, you can either lose the lift forward entirely or potentially compromise your solid lockout that you did have in place prior. So putting this all together, the three major faults that I see in lifters that are trying to develop their split jerk is 1, letting their torso and their balance shift forward in the dip, resulting in a forward drive of the bar. 2 is cutting that leg drive short in the split jerk and using the arms too early. And 3, in that jerk drive, is shooting that back leg too far and straight, or having a lazy front foot, in which both will then affect that initial jerk stability and balance. Now, if you want a coach's eye so you don't need to dial in your split jerk alone, it is what I do every day inside my Raising Minimums team or with my exclusive one-to-one lifters. If you're out there doing it on your own and need a coach, I will leave links in the description to take a look further. But do me a favor, in the comments, I want to know what your biggest issue in the jerk is. And if there's an overwhelming response with something specific, I'll be happy to do a video on that exactly. And of course, if you want to go deeper into your weightlifting journey, YouTube has suggested 2 videos here, which will help you further.